welcome to 𝐂𝐔𝐻EE Cosmetic Designs Cooking with 𝐂𝐔𝐻EE segment. I am Patina 𝐂𝐔𝐻EE, and today I am doing a dinner. It is going to be in different segments, so this one is going to be lamb chops and asparagus, and then in a separate video I am doing crab linguine. So if you have not seen that, you can click that as well after this, or if you came from there, welcome. And if you've never eaten lamb before, then the characteristic of the taste is going to taste rich, earthy, and mildly gamey, and its tender texture quickly absorbs flavors from the spices, herbs, and marinades. And it wouldn't be me if I didn't add a little education. So, if you want to skip all that, then just hit up the timestamps if you want to go right to the recipe. If not, then stick around so you can get a little bit more information. And as for some really cool benefits of eating lamb, it's going to help with heart disease prevention, reduced risk of Alzheimer's, essential for brain function, cancer prevention, DNA maintenance, hair, skin, and nail maintenance, proper cell function, immune system support, sustained energy, promotes muscle growth, and just overall helps with a happier mood. So there's a lot of good benefits to eating lamb. I didn't know all this. And so you can screenshot that as well as the nutritional benefits of eating the lamb if you just want to see the specific vitamins and minerals and the daily value percentages and stuff like that. And eating lamb is new to me. I usually eat steak or beef. So if you're just wanting to know the differences in them with the lamb versus beef, then lamb is going to have a more richer, gamey flavor, and it's higher in fat than beef. It's commonly cooked, roasted, grilled, or pan-fried. It has a healthier fat composition with more omega-3s in there. More selenium, can be easier to digest than beef, and it's more often grass-fed. Versus with beef, it's usually a more straightforward, savory flavor and usually more tender than lamb. And it has various cooking methods, but usually it's grilled, pan-fried, broiled, or roasted. It has fewer omega-3 fats than lamb. It's more zinc, and it may be harder to digest than lamb, and it has less fat and more protein. So overall, if you're wanting to decide between what you're going to do, you can choose lamb if you enjoy a stronger, slightly gamey flavor and don't mind a bit more fat. And beef, choose that if you prefer a more mild, savory flavor and has a variety of textures. And I'm usually a more steak person. Sirloin, ribeyes, that's my thing. But I really wanted to get into lamb, so I'm new to that. And then you know how you be seeing them shorts with the recipes? Ooh, that it was looking so good. I'm like, I'm gonna have to try it. So here is me with my first time going in the grocery store to try to get some lamb. Okay, looking for the the lamb, and this is my first time doing this. They got a whole lamb leg. It's definitely pricey. They got the shoulder blade chops. This is cute. This is the closest to the bone in. And then this is the loin chops, which is what it was saying to get, but it don't have the bone. It's definitely cheaper, so I think I decided I'm gonna do one of each to make sure we got enough meat. We'll go with this. So you see that was confusing. So with the different cuts of the lamb, they're usually chosen for specific reasons, often related to their fat content, tenderness, and cooking method suitability. And the timestamps are below, so again, you can skip. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the top 10 different cuts of lamb. And I'm basing the rankings off this article that I found on tastingtable.com on the cut of lambs ranked from worst to best. So the link for that will be in the description box. So I'm going to get into the different cuts of lamb, why you would use it, and how you would cook it, as well as the different price ranges. So the number 10 cut is going to be the flank. And primal, subprimal, that means primal is the initial cut with butcher terms. And then it's cut down into smaller, manageable pieces, being subprimal. So just remember those terms as we continue. And the cost is considered economical, which is under $10 per pound, so it's affordable. And for the fat content and tenderness, it's lean to moderate fat content, so it's 8 to 16 grams per 100 grams with a firm, coarse texture. So marinate it to tenderize it and slow cook to intensify the flavor, and it can be cut into steaks or flanks are usually used for ground lamb. And as for cooking methods suitability, it's best for slow cooking methods like braising or stewing. Steaks can be grilled or pan-seared after marinating, and the ground lamb can be used for burgers, meatballs, or sausages. And now the number 9 ranking is the neck or neck fillet, where it's been cut down some more. So it'd be subprimal, which is the secondary cut, to market ready, where it's the optimal cut ready for restaurant. And the cost is economical as well. It's affordable, under $10 per pound. And I'm going to paraphrase, but definitely you can screenshot this stuff. But it's lean to moderate fat content, 8 to 18 grams, frequently used muscles, so it's tough. It's going to have plenty of flavor because of the good marbling. And the neck fillet, that's the market ready piece that's boneless and the fat is trimmed, so it's going to offer a more richer flavor and more texture. And the best way to cook it is slow cooking it, like braising, stewing, slow roasting, to allow the fat to break down that connective tissue so it's tender and flavorful. And most of the stuff you're going to have to slow cook that's economical because it is usually tougher, so you're going to have to cook it longer. The neck fillet, that can be cooked quicker though, so that can be grilled or pan fried in smaller pieces. And you can put the neck in various dishes like stews, casseroles, and pulled lamb sandwiches. And out of the 2 shanks, number 8 is the 4 shank. And it's a subprimal to market ready piece, economical cost. And it's lean fat content, so 6 to 13 grams per 100 grams, a bone-in cut, high muscle activity, high collagen content. So when it's cooked, the bone and marrow breaks down, adding deep, rich flavor, and the collagen turns to gelatin, making the meat tender and silky as it simmers. And it's best for slow cooking, braising, and roasting. And make sure that after you're done that you allow it to rest so it can retain the juices. Also, it can be used in stews, curries, and braised meals, and it can also be shredded from the bone, but most of the recipes keep the bone in for presentation. Number 7 is the breast, and that's a primal initial cut. The cost is economical, under $10 a pound. It's a fatty, flavorful cut of meat, so it's 21 to 34 grams per 100 grams. And it's known for its robust, savory flavor enhanced by the fat content. But the fat does fall off during cooking. And it's best for slow cooking as well, braising, roasting, smoking, or stuffed. And when it's slow cooked, it can become crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. And it also can be cured to make halal-friendly lamb bacon. Now we're on number 6. That's going to be the leg, and that's a primal cut. The cost is moving up to a moderate cost, so that's between $10 to $15 per pound. It's lean to moderate fat content with some marbling, so 8 to 17 grams per 100 grams, and it's a large, flavorful, very tender cut. It also is best done slow roasted with the bone in. It can be butterflied or whole, cooked with veggies, garlic, and rosemary, and it's a very popular choice. If you don't want to do turkey, ham, stuff like that, you can do it as a roast during holiday celebrations like Easter, Passover, and Christmas. And you can also cut it into smaller pieces for stews or kebabs. Now, number 5 is the sirloin, and that's a subprimal cut, and the cost is moderate to expensive, so it's going to range between $15 and $18 per pound. It's considered moderately fatty, so it's 9.2 grams per 100 grams, leaning towards a lean, with some marbling and flavor-enhancing fat, and it's known for its tenderness and versatility and has a mild, delicate flavor. And it doesn't take long to cook, so it can be pan-seared, pan-roasted, or grilled, but you can also slow roast it and slice it real thin for sandwiches. Now, number 4 of the 2 shanks is the hind shank. That's number 4, and that's a subprimal cut. It's an economical cost, so it's under $10 per pound. And it's a lean fat content, so it's 3.5 grams per 100 grams, but it's a very meaty, heavily used muscle that's tough when it's raw, but it does have a lot of collagen connective tissue, and it has a deep, rich flavor despite the leanness. And it's best cooked when it's braised in a flavorful liquid, but if you're not going to do that, then you can pressure cook it or slow cook it. All right, so we're getting into our top three. Number 3 is the loin, and that's a primal cut, and the cost is expensive because it's over $15 per pound. And the fat content is lean, so it's 6 grams per 100 grams, but it does depend on the specific cut and preparation method. So it is a less used muscle, so that makes it very tender, juicy cut with a mild, meaty flavor. And it's often cut into chops resembling a mini T-bone steak, or you can do it boneless. But if you do it with the bone, it does provide boneless flavor, and it's definitely one of the most desirable cuts. And the cooking method is versatile, but you can grill it, pan fry it, or roast it. Number 2 is the shoulder, and that's a primal cut, and the cost is economical, under $10. And it's moderate to fatty fat content with 17 to 20 grams per 100 grams. And the cut is more flavorful, contains fat and connective tissue more so than the leg of lamb, so it's more tender and juicy when it's cooked properly. And it's versatile, so it can be cooked bone in or bone out. And despite that it's an economical cut, what makes it bring it up to number 2, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing, is that the shoulder chops is an affordable alternative to the loin chops that we just showed previously, which can be expensive, and it's bigger. So that's what definitely makes it a more highly desirable cut. And it's best cooked low and slow cooked, like braised, stewed, or slow roasted. And you can also use it in roast, stews, curries, and pulled lamb. And now for the number 1 spot, the ribs. Rack of ribs, rib chops, all of that. And it's a primal cut, and it's definitely expensive. It's over $15 a pound. And it's fatty, 21 to 30.7 grams per 100 grams. And it has a good amount of lean meat, but it has a significant fat cap and marbling. So that's going to give it a rich, sweet, mild flavor, tenderness, and juiciness. The rack of ribs is the whole 8 ribs. And if you've seen those lamb lollipops at a fancy restaurant with the exposed bone for the fancy presentation, those are the lamb rib chops. Very increasingly popular cut, and it's an elegant crowd favorite. And it's versatile for the cooking method. So you can cook it slow roasted, you can cook it on high heat, grilled, broiled, and smoked. And it pairs well with a variety of seasonings and marinades to further enhance the flavor. So hopefully that helped, especially if you're new to the lamb crew like me and just wanting to get creative with cooking different cuts, knowing what it's for, all of that. So that definitely helped me understand, what I was getting into after the fact. So what I got that first time was a pack of the rib chops, the number 1, and number 3, the loin chops. And you can tell the difference is significant because they're both around £1.50 pound, but you see with the rib chops, it's almost $30 versus $15 for the loin chops. And I still was holding, end up in the store months later, still getting some more rib chops because I really was wanting the ones with the bone on the end. So got some more, but I still was holding, so it took a minute to make them. Yeah, well, it turned into supposed to have been a quick run. Told you this should have probably been in the back, but fine. But yeah, got the shrimp, just got to defrost them in the bag. Got the meat, but the cutest of these little lamb chops are gonna be for something, y'all. And so I already prepped the lamb chops. And so, you'll see all of that. So do your prep first, and then we got to get started. But before that, I'm going to go ahead and just show you the ingredients that I filmed previously during the prep, and then we'll get into cooking. Of course, I got timestamps in the description, so if you want to skip around, feel free. So let's get started. All right, so let's get into the lamb chop ingredients. Of course, you get your lamb chops, and mine are the rib chops. Of course, I got 2 packs. They got different cuts of lamb chops. You can do olive oil or avocado oil. For the herbs, I'm using thyme, rosemary, and some parsley. And you can even do, the chopped parsley like this, but I'm going to use this. And then I also got some garlic cloves. I already have it in a jar, some whole ones. But of course, you can do all that peeling and all that, or even minced garlic if that's what you want to do. Seasonings, I got kosher sea salt, garlic powder, onion powder, lemon pepper seasoning, some ground ginger, and some ground turmeric. And also the recipe had called for some powder tomato seasoning. And it was hard to find at the grocery store, but I guess this is kind of like what that is. So it's got tomato with some garlic and basil in there. Well, you know, why not? So this is what I'm going to use, and I got 2 packs. May can get away with 1 pack, but I got 2. And I got some butter, and of course stuff to measure with. And so this concludes all the stuff for the lamb chops. And so I'm about to get started. I'm going to prep, and then we'll get into cooking it. So here's all the stuff that I got to make the seasoning mixture. You can do it dry, or you can mix it with the oil and make a rub out of it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a rub to put on the lamb chops. All right, and so it's definitely one of those things that you can do it to taste as far as the seasoning. It's not really just a specific measurement that you have to do, but I'm going to just kind of go off of something else I saw just to kind of get a rough idea of what I'm doing. But again, do what you want to do. So I'm going to start with my kosher salt, and I'm going to do 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt first. Then I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of lemon pepper, a 1/2 teaspoon of the ground ginger, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of the ground turmeric. And matter of fact, I think I'm going to do another 1/2 teaspoon of the lemon pepper. So that'll be 1 1/2 teaspoons of lemon pepper seasoning. And I think I'm going to put another 1/4 of these sea salt. So that'll make 1 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. And then for the tomato powder mixture, it looks like that inside. I'm going to do maybe 2 teaspoons of that. Matter of fact, I'm going to do 3 more. So it'll be 5 of these. All right. Then I'm going to mix it up. Now I got to chop up the parsley. All right, so now I'm going to set these seasonings aside. And I rinsed off my parsley. This is about 1/2 of my batch. I had 1 batch of parsley. And so this is about 1/2 of that. And I'm just going to chop it up. Okay. Just got a few of them. Let's throw those away. And then I'm going to set my parsley aside. All right, so now that that is done, I'm going to get my stuff so I can mix it all together. I'm doing mine as an oil rub, but if you're concerned about oil or calories, then you don't have to do the oil. You can do just the seasonings and do it as a dry rub. But I'm going to start with 1/4 of avocado oil, and then I'm going to do another 1/4, so it's going to be 1/2 cup of avocado oil total. Then we're going to mix in, you pretty much, I guess, want to use all of it, but I'm just going to start little by little. I'm going to start with, 1/2 or a little over 1/2. Here's about 2 tablespoons of parsley. And you could chop up your rosemary and thyme and put it in here as well. But I'm just going to cook it in the butter in the skillet. But yeah, this is what my base is looking like. My rub or whatever. And so now I got my lamb, and then I just, just dry it off so it's not just real wet. And then go ahead and put your oil rub on there. And I put it on one side. Start rubbing it in and flip them over, and then did the excess, but that's when I realized that I didn't have enough. So I end up having to add another 1/4 cup of avocado oil with the rest of my seasonings and some parsley. But to avoid all that, that's why I said do a 1/2 cup of avocado oil in the very beginning. Mix it. And then do it on the other side. So what I would recommend then is to do half the mixture for the one side of the seasoning, and then the other half on the other side. Okay, and then just rub it in real good. All right, and then I'm going to put it in the fridge and let it sit at least 30 minutes. Or you can do it overnight if you want to. So I'm covering it up, putting it in the fridge at least 30 minutes to an hour. Or overnight if you prefer. All right, so this is what the lamb chops are looking like now, and they've been marinating for a day. So definitely the flavors are in there real good. But we're gonna leave this out for 15 to 30 minutes. So it's not, to get more room temperature. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on the asparagus while the lamb chops are, getting more room temperature. So first we're gonna preheat the oven for the asparagus to 400 degrees. Now I'm about to wash the asparagus and cut those thick fibrous ends off. And before I do that, I'm going to take my baking sheet and I'm going to put some foil on it. Now I'm washing off my asparagus and cutting the ends off. Right here. That's what I want to do. And then once I cut that off, lay it over there in a single layer so they're not overlapping. Now, we got our asparagus already cut. So we're just going to try to spread it out as best as we can. Then we're going to take some olive oil and drizzle that on there. Also, we're going to season it. We're going to do the sea salt first. Then we're going to do some black pepper and some garlic powder, as well as some lemon zest. And just wash that off. And then just kind of go over it. And move some to it. Mix it around. Just make sure I got my olive oil coating the whole thing. Spread it back out neatly. And then repeat with my seasonings. And some more lemon zest. All right. There we go. Now I'm about to put it in the oven. If you're doing thin, then you can do it 8 to 10 minutes if your asparagus is thin. But mine is thick, plus I got a lot of it. So I'm going to do about 15 minutes. You can do 12 to 15 minutes. So 15 for me. And you want to cook it until you can either check it with a fork and where it's slightly crisp with a lightly brown tips. That's what we're going for. Go and put this in the oven. And so now, while the asparagus is in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and start doing the lamb chops. All right, so now for the lamb chops, we're going to use a cast iron skillet. And we're going to turn that on. And then you can put olive oil or avocado oil in the skillet and heat it up. I'm going to use avocado oil. Now, That's kind of hot. I'm gonna take the lamb chops and put them in there. And you can cook them about 2 to 4 minutes per side. That's my asparagus timer. So what I'm about to do is put some grated Parmesan cheese on there and then leave it in there for about 2 or 3 more minutes. All right, so the lamb chops, that's how they looking. Let's go ahead and flip those over. We have a nice sear on this side now. We're gonna add some butter to it. And then also, we're gonna add, okay, that's for the asparagus right there. Let me take that out. Put that over here. That's how the asparagus looking. That look good. All right, that's that. Now back to our lamb chop. We got the butter going on. Now we're gonna add some of the rosemary in there. Some of those sprigs. We got thyme. I'm gonna add that in there. And I got some garlic cloves and some brine. I'm gonna add some of those in there. And I will add some more of my parsley. Why not? Get your seasonings down in there. All of that. Okay, just take it, baste it with the butter and all of that. And then what you do is, I'm gonna put it on this platter. Now, I gotta cover it up with some foil and let it rest, as they say, for 5 to 10 minutes. And that's gonna help the juices redistribute and make it more tender and flavorful. So that's what we're gonna do, let that sit for 5 to 10 minutes. All right, so now it's been 10 minutes. Let's see what's going on. Real cute. Like this. Sometimes you can lay them up. You know how you can dress them up real cute. Lay them on here cute, but I don't know if I'm working it out like that. I would like to. Asparagus over here on the side. Lay some. That's what I'm going to do. And have it together. I could put the fresh thyme. I don't know. It's your choice if you want the rosemary and thyme that's already cooked, or, you know, I still got some left that's not cooked that you could put over there too to make it cute, but I'm gonna leave it like that. That's how I'm gonna do it. With asparagus, add a few little pieces of parsley. It adds to it. And last but not least, I'll pour some of that butter from my skillet onto my lamb chops. Yes, that's what you do. All right now, that look good. And there you have it, lamb chops and asparagus. So now for the taste test.
I'm debating on which one I want.
It tastes good? Is it tender? Okay, cool. Cause yeah, I had tried to let it sit. So just trying to make sure. Okay, getting some of that butter. I know that's right. I did drizzle some on from the skillet, so they must be tasting good.
Oh, okay.
Hey, cause last time you said you didn't like no lamb, but see, that's hidden. Y'all just gotta get used to steak. Yeah, the lamb chops is doing what it need to do. Look at it, she getting all the little things. See, she got the little crisp and all that. Oh yeah, okay. That's good. That mean it good. Yeah, she dipping it, y'all. That's a good sign. That mean it's good. And the asparagus.
I already tasted the asparagus off camera.
Right, she snuck some asparagus. So yeah, what did you think of that? This time I put some lemon zest on there.
I could definitely taste the lemon zest. It tasted good though.
Good. That's what I was trying to see. All right. Okay. Well, I guess that is a success.
Don't forget to eat the lamb chops.
Oh, the lamb chop. Please do the lamb chop. She liked them chops.
Yes. Yes, I do.
And then you didn't like them the first time. So, okay.
I like whatever you did this time. I'm rocking with it.
Okay. I think I know what it is. Because if you remember starting out, I was saying how the lamb has that rich, earthy, mildly gamey flavor. The gaminess, I think, is part of the reason because she used to me making steak instead of lamb. And so that gaminess is newer. You know, choose lamb if you enjoy that slightly gamey flavor. And beef has a more mild, savory flavor in comparison to lamb. Then if you remember, you know, when I bought it, I bought two different cuts. I bought the rib chops and the loin chops. And the first time I made the loin chops, that's the ones that's ranked number 3 on the cut list, which is like a mini T-bone steak, but again, it's going to be more gamey. This second time, you know, today I made the rib chops. And if you look at this, I said it's rich, sweet, mild flavor. So I think it's not as strong of a gamey flavor as usual. So I think that made a difference. The other thing I did differently is last time I didn't have the tomato powder, and this time I used that tomato, garlic, and basil. So that was different. Also, last time I used a ginger paste, and this time I got some ground ginger. I'm not sure if that made a difference. I know for sure the tomato powder was different, but just to, you know, think of what was different, I used ground ginger this time instead of the paste. And then the other difference is the first time I made the loin chops, I didn't let it marinate as long. You know how you say about 30 minutes to an hour versus this time I let it marinate overnight, you know, a full day. So it definitely had more time for the good flavors to get in the meat as well. So overall, what I did differently is I did the rib chops instead of the loin chops, which is less gamey flavored than, you know, usual lamb. So now I'm sure likes the less mild gamey flavor better. Plus I did the tomato powder that I didn't do last time, and I used ground ginger instead of ginger paste. And I also let it marinate overnight, you know, a full day instead of 30 minutes or so. So all that combined, I had to think, you know, later on, because she just loving it this time, I had to just make sure I let y'all know what I did do differently. And that did make a difference this time.
I like whatever you did this time. I'm rocking with it.
Okay.
Lamb chop down.
Hey.
I just ate a lamb chop.
Okay, I'm going to insert this in there because I made lamb again. You know, the asparagus, the lamb, and this time some roasted potatoes. But this time with the lamb, I actually did the loin chops and the rib chops. I was saying Sanaa probably preferred the rib chops over the loin chops because it's not as gamey. But maybe it's just because it literally was her first time eating it. Because
my taste buds have to get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, because she actually been eating the loin chops. I made about 4. I did 3 packs of lamb, 1 pack, which was loin chops, which was only 4 of them, the bigger ones. But yeah, I saw what you say what you were saying.
Mary raised them little lambs right. But that's not what I said. Oh, yeah, because it has more meat on it. That's why I like those a little bit more.
Because it got more meat on it.
Basically. I don't like how bony it is.
The rib chop?
I really just got to get up in there. I be feeling like an animal.
Trying to eat it off the bone.
Yeah. Okay. Even with the bigger piece.
Oh.
Yesterday, it was like a bone in the middle of it. But
all right, so the loin chop, I think, has just like a little round one, or a little, okay, like that part is a little bone on the side.
Sitting up there having to get into the cracks and crevices of the bone.
Well, you can just use a knife if you want to.
No.
Well, that's why you're feeling like anything.
Well, yeah.
Just bite right into it.
It's just easier.
Even though you don't have to feel like that, because I mean, I've been eating mine like that too, but I'm just saying though, because they're so small. I think if it was bigger like a steak, usually I'll like pre-cut it or something like that. But
I just be lazy. I don't like pre-cutting. I just be eating.
Because usually you have me cut it. Usually you have me cut your steaks when I do make steak. So, anyways, y'all, I figured I'd insert that in there because I literally did all that trying to explain why she preferred the rib chops over the loin chops. I just think the way I seasoned it, because I even seasoned this the same way that, I did the rib chops in the video. And yeah, she like it. So it's in their seasoning, y'all. Make sure you do the seasoning with the tomato powder, all that. That really helps. All right. Bye. All right, y'all. So, yeah, the lamb chops and asparagus turned out really good because when I made some lamb before, my daughter wasn't really feeling it. But, hey, it's good. So, you saw, yep. So, so I don't hardly like nothing. So, if she likes something, it's definitely good. Oh, anyways, this is a nice something that you can make. Give you a little fancy, smancy feel, whether you eat it by yourself or with a special person, or whatever you want to do. Date night, however. And so yeah, getting to the crab linguine. We're going to do that to go with it. So that's in a separate video. So definitely meet me over there. Also, if you like this look, hair, makeup, all that, you can check the links out. Or if you came over here from that, hey, thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned for more. Bye. Make sure you like and subscribe, y'all.